Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video. Here's our topics of today. First of all, we're gonna be talking about how Ripple is doing on the other side of the world. We know that Ripple has a lawsuit going on right now over in the US, but let's see how the business is moving on in Europe, for example. Then we're going to head over into 3 reasons why Bitcoin can reach $100,000 this year. Before moving over into a new statue that has been created for the Bitcoin creator Satoshi Nakamoto, very interesting. Then moving over into one crypto that's gone up about 7,000%. Let me give you a hint, it's called Phantom. I'll give you more info on that later. And then moving over into the ECB and what they think about a digital euro. I have a little bit of a special at the end of this video. You might see it on the right here. If you watch to the end, you're going to see this. It's pretty funny because it's actually a hobby of mine, and I'll tell you more about it as we get to the end. Now, guys, first of all, of course, I'm going to quickly talk a little bit about the crypto prices, and I request you all to press the like button. If you're hearing a little bit of an echo, it's most likely because I'm in a different room right now, but it's the best I can do. And I try to put these videos into chapters in the description and the comment section, so you guys can just easily skip to whatever part you like. But it takes some extra effort. It takes, for example, double the time to actually get these videos out. So please press that like button if you are appreciating these new sorts of videos. So in terms of prices, the crypto market has fallen down a little bit since our last update. Now, I'm going to try to get this video to you out as soon as possible, but with the internet speed I have here, it might take a little bit longer. But let's hope that the prices stay relatively the same. So when I was earlier giving you guys the update, most crypto prices were going up by about 2% or so. That has fallen. Most things are right now on the about minus 1%. And again, this correlation between Bitcoin and others is what our special is going to be about at the end. So once more, keep watching. It's going to be pretty fun. I tried my best. All right. Ripple keeps thriving outside the US, despite the SEC harming its domestic business. This is one of those articles which are just key for people's understanding of what Ripple actually does. What I mean with that is many people think, oh, Ripple's getting sued over in the United States, so there mustn't be anything going on. This crypto company, fintech company, is just doomed forever. It's bad. Well, not really. To be honest with you, Ripple isn't actually that hurt by the entire endeavor of the SEC suing them. It's mostly annoying for XRP's future in the US, but Ripple's business was already about 90 to 95% outside of it, and they've now actually confirmed as well that it's just because of the SEC that is doing bad in the US. And before that, there was also a little bit of uncertainty why they, as to why they didn't get all the partners, because of course it's been argued that XP was security for a very long time, that it was centralized and whatnot. That caused Ripple some trouble too. But now they've been sued. Of course, it's annoying in the US because nobody wants to take that risk, right? Not that many companies. However, there's a big rest of the world. 90% of the customers. And to be honest with you, like was confirmed here, people close to Ripple say while the SEC case over XRP has hurt its domestic business is thriving overseas. Further proof the SEC crypto enforcement agenda is forcing innovation to occur outside the US. Story developing. And that's a really important point. They are really trying to, for some odd reason, push innovation outside the US. Because think about it. How many companies wouldn't have just set up in the United States had the rules been clear? Most likely quite a lot of them. And because of all the enforcement action, I think a lot of companies, even this year still, are going to move over to some easier places like, for example, Dubai, Singapore, you name it, where just the rules are a little bit more clear. It doesn't have to be perfect, but not as diminishing as over in the US. All right, then moving over, 3 reasons why Bitcoin can reach $100,000 this year, according to Bloomberg Analyst. And I have to quickly say one thing. Whenever we see articles like this, and by the way, I'm hearing people in the background in the room next to me. Hopefully you guys can't hear it too loud. They can most likely hear me too, which is kind of awkward, I guess, but whatever, screw it. I've gotten over that stage. So hopefully for all of y'all, you already know that if a Bloomberg analyst says something like this, it's not necessarily fact, nor is it really important. You kind of got to have that as a baseline. Now, if you've got that, you already know that whatever they can tell us is interesting, but we shouldn't hold it too close. Because let's actually ask this question. Comment it down below in the comment section, your answer. Do you think Bitcoin can still reach 100,000? So basically, do you think that the crypto market can still double in the next 3 to 4 months? Well, if you said no, why is that so? Because there hasn't really been anything that pointed us towards the fact that it can't happen. So 3 reasons. Well, we can name 1,000. It could be institutional investors. It could just be the retail investors who pick the pace up. It could be the United States or multiple countries coming in with some better regulations. There could be so many different things. It could be a Bitcoin ETF that's going to allow for such huge inflows. And we can kind of go on with that list. There could be a ton of different things. It could be that Apple gets into it. It could be that Amazon gets into it. One of those things, for example, if Apple really says we're bullish on Bitcoin, we're going to buy it, you already know, like happened with Tesla, the price is going to go up by at least $10,000. So at least 20% up in one day. And so if 2 companies do that, if Warren Buffett changes his mind saying, oh, I'll buy Bitcoin, you know how much that will do for the price, guys? And from that perspective, yes, we're still early, but most importantly, $100,000 can really happen in a couple of days. It's really still quite likely even that it's going to happen at the end of this year. At least that's my own personal thought. So the number of people believing that 100K per Bitcoin at the end of the year is going to happen continues to grow, with the latest being Mike McGlone, very known on Twitter, about outlining the growing mass adoption, declining active supply, among other reasons. McGlone predicted that Bitcoin could more than double its value in the next 3 months. This year has already been a wild roller coaster when it comes to Bitcoin's price, as it surged from below 30 to above $60,000. And since those dark days in July, when the price went down to about $20,000, it has actually gained as well. Again, those $20,000 ish. I guess it went down 30, came back up 20, and currently stands just below 50K. And although there's less than 4 months left until the end of the year, the predictions envisioning a more than 100% gain are definitely there. Mike McGlone has also joined the bandwagon by outlining a few reasons. Firstly, he touched upon historical Bitcoin trading trends before broaching the decreasing supply of the primary crypto. This could be regarded from a number of viewpoints. The speed of the creation of new Bitcoins reduces every 4 years after an event that's called the halving. And after the latest third one in 2020, the rate is now down to 6.25 BTC per block. We can also add 3 million coins considering lost or inaccessible. And additionally, long-term holders seem determined to retain their Bitcoin holdings and refuse to sell, even when the price tumbles as it did earlier this month. This also coincides to a large extent with the stock-to-flow model. By reviewing the stock as the size of existing reserves, or stockpiles, and the flow as the annual supply of Bitcoin on the market. The S2F also envisions a $100,000 price per tag coin by the end of the year. So things generally are quite positive. And the last one is increasing adoption. All right. Moving over into the next one, guys. Hungary, not Hungary, but the country Hungary, unveiled a statue in honor of Bitcoin creator Satoshi Nakamoto. So the statue is not actually in this article itself. Why? I don't really know. However, I did see it over on Instagram. There's quite a lot of memes being made about it. But that's pretty cool that, a place in Hungary, the capital there, was like, you know what, Budapest, we'll make a bronze statue out of a man whose face we don't really know, or women or organization we don't really know. We'll make a statue out of it and just put a random face on there. Now, if you want to see it for yourself, just go to the Googles or Instagram and type it in. You'll find it. But it's very peculiar. And I didn't really know that Hungary was this, cool with Bitcoin, basically, that they made a statue all the way. That's pretty interesting. I wouldn't have thought so. Moving over, this crypto has gained almost 7,000% in this year. Should you buy? So my own personal prediction about that is if something has gone up that much, it's either going to do just way more, or it's kind of the end of an era. So SafeMoon did a crazy percent, but the end of its era was really kind of apparent, right? A thing like Solana has done some crazy percentages, but it's just the start, I would say. And with Phantom, it's one of those cryptos where it's actually really in the middle because, to be honest with you, it's not as well known of a crypto. It's still a little bit down lower. And the thing is, it's just one of those platformers yet again. And so the reason I'm saying that the gains could be over is because it's the DeFi sector, right? It's the smart contract sector. It's the platformer sector. So it's kind of the same as Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, Solana, all those. And since all of those have done well, so can Phantom. Keep going on with that momentum. The reason I'm saying is because there's already so many out there, and it could really be that at one point or another, people just prioritize Solana, or people just start to prioritize Cardano, or people just start to prioritize. You don't really know with these smart contract networks, specifically if they've gained, for example, 100 times or more in such a short amount of time. it gets a lot crazier, a lot scarier. Now, Phantom had a couple of really big partnerships, which of course made the price extra juicy and extra special. But again, if we don't keep that up, it could be that it's going to slow down a little bit. So I personally wouldn't say go crazy on it. That's, again, my own personal thought process. Then again, I know a lot of people that hold Phantom. I personally do not really hold a big stash. I know a lot of people that do, though. But my thoughts are, this is too risky of a no-brainer, right? It's too risky to just go in and go nutty. I personally don't even have that much, but it still has a good shot. So if you're wondering, oh, should I go panic buy? I wouldn't suggest. Should you panic sell? I wouldn't say that either, right? I'm kind of in the middle of this one, which usually I have a really outspoken opinion, as you guys most likely know. In this case here, I'm really in the middle of it, so yeah, that's kind of funny. Then, no guarantees on the digital euro, the ECB advisor says. A key official at the ECB has said the forthcoming central bank digital currency tests at the ECB do not guarantee the eventual launch of a digital euro. And the only thing, I guess, is that when I was talking with some financial guys, or like you can call them, I guess, accounting guys, when I was talking with a couple of them a while back already, what they basically said is, oh, the digital euro is not that certain. And I was kind of confused. I was like, huh? I thought it was really certain that the digital euro was going to come, but they didn't know how or when. But no, apparently after time and reading this article yet again, I figured out, well, so they're testing things, but they don't actually know if they want to pursue this standard and actually go along with the way. So, for example, in the US, we all know that they're working on a digital dollar, right? To, again, combat the digital yuan over in China, but also just to kind of work on this newer system of a newer layer. I didn't know, though, that potentially they could just say, nah, we're not going to do it. I thought it was like certain that they were gonna, but we didn't know when or how. But apparently it's not as certain as you might have thought. All right, so that's my kind of news video for right now. There's a little fun fact at the end here, like I already said, and it actually has to do with what I do on a day-to-day basis as well. So even though I've told you guys a little bit more about my job over the last couple of days, there's actually another thing which I have kind of a passion for, and I don't know if you guys know it. It has a lot to do with analysis or econometrics. For you guys that have been watching me for years, you most likely know more. I'm not going to say too much more. Just know that I do like it, all right? And so one of the things which I was actually doing today, what I usually go for is I put on some music. In this case here, we have on Requiem. If you can see at the top here, that's what I put on today. I just put on and I go read a little bit. That's what I do almost every single day. But today, we wanted to go for some more difficult reading, basically, because sometimes I like to read, some literature, as an example. This, I don't consider fun reading. I consider reading to get some information out of it. But what I found fun is actually the change in perspective from a older paper, so to speak, versus a newer paper. And even though at the start of this one was freaking written in Portuguese or something like that, so I thought, ooh, I'm not going to have too much of an advantage out of it. It's actually pretty funny if you look at the numbers and kind of compare it with each other. So one of the fun parts is actually the correlation, which people often use to actually predict the future as well. It's a good part of it. One of the cool parts is actually how low of a correlation XRP, or Ripple at that time, had to Bitcoin if you look at it from the perspectives of, I think it's 2015 to 2018, which they use for this correlation. Here you can see 2015 to 2018, basically. And once more, it's pretty peculiar, right? I mean, Ethereum has let's say about 40%. XRP is about 27, right in the middle. Litecoin pretty high, even Stellar high. The only one that's lower is Verge, but that's most likely because Verge is just a completely different type of thing. It has almost no correlation to anything, as you can clearly see there. Verge went on a crazy rise at that time, so I'm not really including that one in the sample. However, if you look again at XRP, it is actually very, very significantly low to Bitcoin and mostly just really, really high to Stellar. But if you really look at the XP number here, it has like one of the lowest correlations to every other crypto out there. And that's actually pretty peculiar if you look at it in the past, right? If you look at it in the kind of the present, kind of the now, and you kind of look at the analysis that these guys have done over the, kind of the latter half, so from 2017 to 2020, and you look at XRP, for example, it actually doesn't deviate that much from anything else, to be honest with you. I mean, it kind of just falls along with everything. And in this specific case, if you're trying to take in this little part right here, the correlation basically with the long-term correlation, let's just kind of call it like that, with the red line being the long-term. And they're basically using this at the end of things to kind of predict in some certain sense, they're trying to predict the future value of it, but mostly how it's going to perform over the future. And what I just, as I said, found funny is how XRP right now actually comes along really quite nicely with the rest, and the correlation is really, really high. In the past, it wasn't. And it does make you wonder what exactly made that change. And really, to what extent does Bitcoin have an effect on the entire crypto market? That's some stuff that I sometimes still worry, or at least wonder about. So how could it be that an asset that has 50% has this much control when they're all separate currencies on their own, right? I mean, I can find some logic in that. When people get into crypto, they first buy Bitcoin and then they start diversifying to other things. So they first buy Bitcoin, and so since it's also half of the market, if Bitcoin goes down, then half the market goes down. And if, for example, all the major companies, so Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, all were to go down in one day, there's a good chance that at least the tech index would go down, but maybe the entire index, any index out there would go down because people are just kind of bearish on the world, on the markets. Yeah, so I've been kind of thinking about that too. But most importantly for right now is just kind of looking at the fact that the correlation has changed so much. And in my own opinion, it's actually a lot more difficult to find some good correlation information online if you don't look at real papers or people who analyze it in some way. At least I haven't found it in an easy way, or I'd have to kind of calculate it myself or put it in a program. But just looking at this, I find it really peculiar. If I find anything else, I'll definitely share it with you. I had a bigger story, but I don't know, the guys I think in the room next to me and everything like that, it's kind of distracting me, and I don't feel confident in telling everything anymore. Hopefully I'll get to it next episode when I get some more courage and get some more info out there. I'm going to try my best, all right? I'm trying my best. Make sure you press that like button if you enjoyed it. This last part, just consider it for fun. I didn't mean anything too heavy with it. And again, I'll see you guys again in another crypto video later today. Make sure you, again, press that like button if you enjoyed it. See you guys again in another one.